In 2021, Gloucestershire piloted their first holiday activity and food programme, HAF, funded by the Department of Education, to offer enriching activities and nutritious food to children and young people across the county. To celebrate the pilot, we interviewed some of the people who made HAF happen, as we wanted to get their insight.
I think HAF is important right now because we've had a really tough time over the last couple of years with the pandemic, and children and families have missed out on so many opportunities to connect and do things and be social and do all of those things that really make life enjoyable and community life enjoyable. And I think HAF is allowing us to kind of do that again. It's allowing us to provide those opportunities for families to connect and children to connect.
Mental health in children and young people is at an absolute peak. The timing of the HAF programme to give people that opportunity to come together and at the same time access healthy, nutritional food, I think is absolutely vital, and just the start of how we actually go on and tackle that mental health legacy of COVID and the lockdowns.
More important than it's ever been. How do we get it right for our children and young people? And the elements around the nutrition and the diet are actually more critical than I think they've ever been before.
As a lead member, the thing that keeps me awake is what we don't know, the children we don't have visibility of that may need our services and our help. And particularly in the pandemic, when the schools were closed, that was a major cause of concern, because if you look at it, schools are often a source where they are able to spot children who may need additional help and services. So HAF was hugely important in that time when the schools were closed.
So I guess one of the aims is that children on free school meals can enjoy social activities, they can enjoy craft activities, they can just have fun with their friends, develop in the school holidays and take part in their community, which they may not be able to do, and also gives them the opportunity to enjoy food, learn to cook, have time with friends and family, cooking food, and just really being part of the Cheltenham community.
So our aims for the HAF project are to make sure that children and young people have got really fun, enriching activities to do during the school holidays, and then they get to try things that they might not have necessarily tried before and go places they might not have been, and to have access to places that they can connect and socialise and meet other children and young people and have some really good quality food when they do that.
We really want to ensure that the kids, after COVID especially, we could get them back outside and just back being active, socialising with their friends and just being happy with being outside and seeing everyone really. So we had quite a range of offers. We had anything from cooking to sports to arts and crafts. So we just wanted to make sure all bases were covered for any child's needs and talents.
We did lose a couple of sessions because of youth workers and delivery partners actually going down with COVID, so we had to react very quickly to that to ensure that we still got the food to the children and young people, and activities went online. So Jack was involved in hosting some cookery videos, Alex, one of our colleagues, was doing multi-sport exercises to ensure that we still got those, the value of the HAF programme to the young people.
As we come out of the pandemic, we do have to look at children and young people and the impact the pandemic has had on them. We're seeing that in schools, and we don't know yet whether that's long-term or short-term, and whether it's the HAF programme or other programmes. I think we need to take a look at how do we help young people as they come out of the pandemic and what impact that has had on them, particularly those who are away from school for long periods.
We know that the last 2 years have been a challenge, and we know there are more challenges to come. We know that family budgets are being stretched tighter than ever before, and we know the ramifications of that, and we know what's going to happen. For us, the HAF project has a really good role in that, to make sure that all of our providers right across the city can make sure that families are receiving the support they need when they need it, and HAF is really fundamental to that.
The impact of HAF has been dramatic for many of our families and a life support for others really. Belmont is a special needs school with 171 children. We have children from age 5 to age 16, and every single child has got a learning difficulty of some kind. So If, particularly during the COVID pandemic, you've got lots of children at home and you don't have the freedoms to take them to leisure centres, shopping, then actually that home environment can become very intense very quickly. And the HAF project has allowed us to bring those children into school, to offer respite to families. So every family will tell you a different story, but I know many of our single parents talk about the freedom of being able to go shopping, the freedom to see friends, just the downtime to rest and recover. Every family will tell you a different story, but we know with absolute confidence that the impact is huge on the families.
I think my favourite aspect of HAF was the fact that children could join in with activities like the ice skating that maybe they wouldn't normally have been able to join in with, and no one knew any different. They would just turn up with their family and join in with the ice skating, and no one knew it was HAF funded, and they could just enjoy themselves, so they could really feel part of the excitement that was happening in the town, whereas they wouldn't necessarily normally be able to do that.
One of my favourite aspects about the HAF programme is the fact it just builds young people's confidence throughout. We had a kid who was really apprehensive about joining our session, yet his parents had to stay for the start, and he was just determined. He just didn't think he was going to enjoy it the whole time, and then as the session built up and up, he just got more involved in the games, more involved in the session, and by the end he just didn't want to leave.
I have two particular things I like about the HAF programme. One is the direct involvement of communities and how we have made this local and not some central activity that was difficult to access, but also I like the activity side of it. And we've seen some very varied and very creative activities connected to this that have worked for local communities and have been things they're interested in. So I think we've seen creativity, and that's always great.
We found with the HAF, unlike other grants, that we could be creative with that. Okay, so for example, HAF is the first ever funding that I've had access to where I could commission transport to get that vulnerable person into my school to have the benefits of the staff and the facilities. Every other grant that we've ever had offered to us, there was always a constraint that we couldn't do transport. What that fundamentally meant was the children that are really the most vulnerable, that are away from walking distance at Belmont, with families that don't drive or can't afford transport, those children often live in a flat with no garden, no area to play and break out from. Those children were stuck at home, while other families that were maybe in need of provision, but they could drive, they may have had a garden, they may have had other family members to bring them in, they could access the facility, and that made me really sad and really cross. This is wonderful funding that can make a big difference, but it's really important that we make the difference to the right children and the very most vulnerable, and now we do that.
I think my favourite aspect of our winter HAF was the work we did to create activity packs. So we offered activity packs to all the children on free school meals through local schools.
I think it's great that some of our most disadvantaged young people have got or had the opportunity for some absolutely fantastic activities, but also to have good food, you know, have some good company as well after being in COVID and not being able to access things in the same way. So I think that's fabulous, it's a great opportunity. So I'm very proud of the team for their innovation, but also around that inclusivity of some of the children that maybe wouldn't have accessed the service if they hadn't have gone above and beyond to build that in.
I was going to ask you about the food here. So you had lunch here yesterday, right?
I loved it.
What did you have?
Chicken tikka.
Okay, have you had it before?
Not as far as I know.
No.
I've had chicken curry like it, but not exactly like it, I don't think.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chicken tikka.
And it was really good.
Me and Charlie got a second. Yeah.
If there was anything you could eat while you were there, anything you could have for lunch, what would it be?
Meatballs.
I've had that today.
100 meatballs.
100 meatballs? You can't fit 100 meatballs in you, you're only tiny.
No, he could. Yeah. Yeah. Because he finished his lunch yesterday quite fast.
Very fast. And he was like the last person to get his lunch, and he ate it incredibly quickly.